Thanks for clicking on Wayne.com for our Week 1, our first edition of Inside the Zone. Justin Kinney of the News Sentinel will be joining us every Monday, all season long. Third year that we've done this?
Yeah, for some reason you guys keep having me back.
I know. Well, the salary is the perfect, the perfect enticer at this point.
I'm sure you guys have been efforting to find a better talent, but you're stuck with me for another year.
The pig could come in, but you know what? There's a whole lot of bacon issues going on there.
A lot of FCC violation potential there, so you guys don't want to get
swine in the studio is not allowed per those rules. But let's start off with the SAC because that's what people are looking at this week. A couple of really good games, and it starts off with Luers and Carroll at Luers Field. That's going to be the big game this week. It's our game of the week. I know you're going to be out there, so talk a little bit about what you are hopefully going to see out there on Friday, given that, hey, this is everybody's first go-round in 2016.
Yeah, you're llooking at it and you see what does Carroll have, right? What you have to replace Aiden Smith. They have to replace a lot of guys on that defense. Dylan Connor, James Jemisic, and Blake Schumacher, a star at each level of the defense that they're losing. So who's the next crop of guys that's going to step up for Carroll defensively? And they get a tremendous challenge right out of the gate, having to face Bishop Luers and their outstanding talent and athleticism. So it's going to be a very interesting battle to see if Carroll can hang with Luers, and also Luers want to see their depth a little bit. I know their frontline guys are sensational. Let's see if they're in the third and fourth quarter, if they wear down a little bit, or they have a lot of guys going both ways. We'll see just what kind of shape they're in.
You mentioned for Carroll questions on the defense. They return a number of players, but some of the stars, as you mentioned, have graduated. So who's going to fill those roles? Offensively, where are they at in the quarterback position? Because against Dwenger, we saw Ian Miller, we saw Jack McGill, both of them playing. They haven't decided on a quarterback yet, as far as I know. I don't know if you have any updated info.
That's where I'm at, too. Coach Dinan likes to hold things pretty close to the chest. So where they're at quarterback-wise, if they're going to split or if they're going to go with one guy. I know Coach Dinan in preseason said we don't want to have two guys. But we heard a lot about Jack McGill in the offseason, just a very good athlete, strong arm. But Miller's been there, too. And it's going to be interesting whether they make a decision here going into Week 1 or maybe they take that rehearsal and try out into the regular season.
If you're Bishop Luers, what are you looking at to do to replace Austin Mack? Obviously, he's at Ohio State. It looks like, from everything you see out of their camp in Columbus, Austin Mack is going to play some this year as a true freshman, which is not easy to do anywhere.
It may start.
Not easy to do anywhere, let alone at a program like Ohio State. They essentially got him the ball any way they could last year. How much does that change? You've got Deshaun Bussell kind of transitioning into that star role as a junior, plus you've got Arian Nieves transferring over from Northside, where he was a starter 2 years, to be a senior quarterback for Bishop Luers.
Well, you're not going to replace Austin Mack with just one guy. That's just going to be impossible. Deshaun Bussell is probably the guy to watch in the passing game, the junior. A lot of big offers out there. He's probably the guy that will be looked upon to really replace him in the passing game. But you got Arian Nieves, who you mentioned, and he gives Luers that added dimension. Not that Noah Wazinski wasn't a phenomenal quarterback. He was. But he's a very pocket-oriented quarterback. Could escape a little bit. But we've seen Arian Nieves over the last 2 years at Northside just make a lot of plays out of nothing when things are breaking down, buying time, scrambling. He gives Luers that ability at that position to really be a true two-headed monster at the quarterback spot, can run or pass. And then the three running backs, Ty Hambright, Jalen Charlton, and Gareth Brower, three of the best running backs around. And they give Luers a big triple threat at that running back spot. I think they're going to try to get a lot of them on the field at the same time. And just a lot of athletes that Luers can put on the field that I think is going to ease the loss of Mack with kind of a talent by committee kind of thing. And
also, Carter Gilly, I know that coaching staff is really high on him at the wide receiver position. Saw him return an interception for a touchdown in the scrimmage against Northside at Bishop Darcy Stadium. So he's got some talent as well. They're going to use him on the outside. So a talented guy. When you take a look at this game, what's the one thing that you're looking? Because you mentioned it's that Luers offense that's transitioning away from using Austin Mack in that role against a Carroll defense that has some holes to fill.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, is that Luers offense and the immense amount of athleticism they're able to put on the field, and see how the new Carroll players, new starters on that defense adjust to that speed and that athleticism. And I know Carroll will have guys coming up to replace the guys they lost, but are they ready for the big stage right off the bat on Week 1?
All right, we'll have to see out at Luers Field. That is your Highlight Zone game of the week.